Hello and welcome to Taffy Crafting. My name's Donna and I'm bringing to you today a really simple box, a gift box. This is it here. It's so easy to make and it's just decorated with some ribbon, and I'm also going to show you another technique today, which is heat embossing, which can make your embellishment to your box just look that little bit more impressive. I decided to make this box. I'd been in Tesco's and I'd seen in their smellies aisle one of these. This was £1, so was that. And you know, sometimes when you've just got to buy a small gift for somebody just as a token gift, these were ideal. I used to find that my teenage girls, when they were at high school, they used to say a week before Christmas, "Oh Mum, I've got to buy a present for," and then run off a list of names. And these would have been ideal for that, you know, £1 each. And then you can make a nice fancy box for them to go into. So it is going to be Christmas themed. It's July when I'm filming this, so it's a bit weird doing that. But I'm going to show you what we need. Don't worry about writing all of the dimensions and things down. There is a direct link to my blog in the description bar, just below here. Don't forget to subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up if you like it. And so here we go, let's get started. So you need a piece of paper that measures 7.5 inches by 8.5 inches. So it's got to be 7.5 inches wide and 8.5 inches tall. Remember that if you've got a pattern on your paper that's got some direction on it, that you need to have the short side here with your pattern running up and down. Okay, the other thing that you're going to need, we're going to use this to put a label on the front of our box, and this measures 1.5 inches by 3.25 inches, and I've just rounded off the corners. I've just used my corner rounder to do that. And I'm also going to use this ribbon as well, which actually coordinates, and this coordinates with the red in there as well. And I'll leave links to all of the products that I've used. Again, I'll leave that in the description bar, and you can find that on my blog together with a direct link to my shop. So the first thing we're going to do is put some score lines on this piece of paper. So I'm going to get my scoring board, and I'm going to start with the short side at the top. And my first score line is going to be at 1 3/4. My next score line is at 3.5. My next is at 5 1/4, and then at 7 inches. And again, don't worry about the measurements. You can see those in my blog. Turn it over then to the long side. Doesn't matter which way round you rotate that. And you are going to put a score line at 1 3/4, 6 3/4. Oh, and that's it, just those two lines there. So I don't know if you can see that, but we've got some score lines going on there. So we're done with that now. Let's just put that to one side. So what we're going to do, we've got a skinny triangle, rectangle here, and we need to cut some bits out of that, and I'll show you how we do that. The sharp pair of scissors. So if you're looking at it this way, you've got this very narrow rectangle here with a couple of score lines. What we need to do is get rid of each of these rectangles here. So I'm going to cut up that one there to that first score line. And then I'm just going to wedge into that there, so we actually have a diagonal line going into that corner. We do exactly the same with this one. Up to that corner, to the first score line. So what you're left with is that. And then take your bone folder and you are going to burnish all of those fold lines. you see how nicely this paper's double-sided and how nicely it coordinates with the paper on the back. So when you actually open the box, you've actually got a nice inside to look at. Can't see these gold ones. So we're just going to burnish those. And then, once we've done that, we're going to cut up. You should be looking at this now. You might look at it that way or that way, and you've got a score line here, and you've got a score line here, and then you've got 3 score lines running up to that score line there. And you're just going to cut up those. So what you're left with then, 4 flaps there, 4 flaps there, and then you've got this tab here, and that's how we're going to form the box shape. So what we're going to do is run some glue along there. Now you can use double-sided sticky tape, you can use wet glue, you can use fast fuse, you can use snail, you can use whatever you like. It's your adhesive of choice. And for speed, I'm going to use double-sided sticky tape. I always prefer wet glue because it gives you that kind of wiggle room just to get the paper in the right position. The thing about double-sided tape is that as soon as you've stuck that down, that's it. It's so sticky that if you try and lift it, you're just going to ruin your paper. And then you're just going to take the release paper off of that and then fold it over like that. And you want these 2 score lines to meet just like that, and then you've got, you've got a nice square box. Okay, so open it up and there we are. There's our box. Now I haven't got directional paper here, so it doesn't matter whether that's the top or whether that's the top, it doesn't matter. But if you have got directional paper, then you would need to decide what's your top and what's your bottom. And what we're going to do, decide what your bottom is, and then you're going to fold these in. So that seam that you've just made is there, so that needs to be at the back. And you're going to fold in your 2 side flaps there, fold that front one in, and then run some adhesive just along there. I'm kind of rushing at this just for speed. You would take your time. This is the bit that I'm not very good at, is trying to get the release paper off of this. There we go. And then just fold that over there, stick that down, and there we have our box. Ready to stick down there. We're not actually going to stick that down. So you take your gift, there we are, I've got my bath and shower gel, and I'm going to drop that in there like that. Fold those down, and then I'm going to get my ribbon. Now I can't do bows, I just can't do them. Actually, I'm going to put that flap there like that. Just hopeless. So all I'm going to do is just like a double knot. I'm not going to make you sit there and watch me try and do a bow. And and that knot looks absolutely fine. Just trim off the edges, make sure that you put a diagonal cut on there, and that will stop that fraying. So just that on its own looks really pretty, but we're just going to do something a little bit more special, and we're going to put a label on the front. and this is where we're going to do some heat embossing. So the first thing you do is that you prepare the paper that you're going to emboss. So I just get my embossing buddy, just dab that on there, and that takes any static off of that piece of paper or piece of cardstock. And then I've got my Versamark ink. And then I've got this reindeer design, and I've got this from the Merry Mistletoe stamp set, which has got 9 lots of stamps in all. We've got a nice little reindeer, and then we've got some kind of, we've got a Christmas tree and some other kind of, I don't know what that is. We've got some mistletoe, a nice sentiment here, a couple of sentiments, a big Merry Christmas sign, nice garland going on there, got a sentiment that can go in the inside of your card, and then another decoration going on here. So you load up your stamp onto your stamp block, get your Versamark ink, and then you're just going to load that up like that. And then I'm going to very carefully position that stamp on there. And then, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you should be able to see that. You can just see that we've got the outline of our reindeer going on there. I'll just put that to one side. I need a sheet of paper for this next bit. So have a scrap piece of paper there. You'll see why in a minute. I've then got my embossing powder, and this is in silver. Again, I'll leave a link for all the other colours that we do. And then you're just going to cover your design up with that powder. And then very carefully shake the excess off. Very carefully get that off, because none of this at the moment will stick. If I was to rub my finger across there, it would just all come off. But you really want to get this excess off. You'll see why in a second, because when we come to blast this with the heat tool, it will just stick. So I'm happy with that. And then this excess that's on here, we're just going to tip that straight back into our pot. Okay, just get rid of that. Put the top on that before I spill it. And then this is where the magic happens. You get your heat tool, it's going to make a noise. And try and keep it away from any other paper, because it will just, it will warp it because of the heat. And then I'm just going to heat it up. And just watch, I don't know if you'll be able to see this on camera, but just watch what happens as this embossing powder gets warm. All of a sudden, it looks like it's melting. It will warp your paper a little bit. Let's see what's happening there as it gets hot. So watch your fingers when you're using this. That's done. And then we've got a label with an embossed reindeer on it. Now you can see why I said you need to make sure that all of that excess powder is off, because what that's done is actually cooked it on there. So you need to make sure that you spend the time making sure that all of the excess is off. So I've got my gift. I want to put that on there just like that. So I'm going to just get some of these foam pads, or you could use Stampin' Up dimensionals, they would be better. I'm just using up my old stash of adhesive. And these foam pads aren't great, but they'll do for now. But I would recommend the dimensionals from Stampin' Up. Because these you just get stuck to. And by using the foam pads or dimensionals, what you're doing is raising this label, and it just gives a little bit more interest to the gift box. So I'll just take the backing paper off of those very quickly. I'm going to get my box, and then I'm just going to stick that on there. And there you have, for a very simple and inexpensive gift, you've got a really stylish looking gift box. I've done some heat embossing, which I just think that makes that look really lovely. Colour coordinated ribbon and some beautiful paper. Thank you very much for joining me today. So don't forget to leave a like if you've liked this video, and subscribe to the channel so that you can see all the other videos I'm doing of other projects for gift boxes and card making and all sorts of things. Thank you very much. Bye bye.